You there right now?
Okay, all right, we live, y'all. Okay, I ain't do that right.
I'm, I mean, I'm in the middle of
Hold up,
chewing on some pizza, and it's like,
I ain't do that right. But hey y'all, this the Four Black Guys show. Listen, Steve is not with us tonight, so I'm trying to figure this out
apparently,
myself. Obviously, I did not get the intro done. I don't even know where the intro is at, y'all. I don't
Hey,
even
we
know.
good. We live. Let's go for it, man.
boy,
Hey,
I mean, that was a dry.
Yeah,
Just
that was
I'm
yeah
talking
that
about.
bam. Here we go. Boy,
yeah
I'm
that
glad I
caught me
wasn't.
off guard too. That caught me. But anyway, guys, it's Sunday. We are here. Um, man, listen. Let's get this stuff out the way. I need you guys to go to YouTube. We should be live on YouTube also. Need you guys to go to YouTube, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit
Yes,
the
sir.
notification bell, and
That
share
like
this thing out,
button.
man. Share out the YouTube, man. We're trying to get our YouTube numbers up. We got some things we're gonna be trying to do this year. We're gonna try to get monetized, man. We're gonna try to get some merch, some Four Black Guys merch out there. We're gonna try to do some things big this year, man. So we need you guys sharing the streams out. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like and share, man, and just help us out because we're gonna try to do this thing big this year. Michelle, how you doing?
Hey,
Michelle
This,
Michelle.
Scott, first 10. How you doing, lady?
this was a little unorthodox. I ain't get it right, but that's okay. That's all right. We here. We here, man.
Hey,
We gonna have a good discussion tonight, y'all. Real good discussion. I think it's something that we definitely need to talk about. But anyway, gentlemen,
yes, sir.
man, it's good to see y'all.
Good to see you too, brother.
Man,
You
that's
too.
Good to
wonderful.
see
That's
you.
wonderful. Lovejoy,
Yes, sir.
how was your weekend, sir?
Absolutely amazing.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's what we
So,
doing tonight.
so it was chilled out and smooth then, huh? Just
Yeah,
it was
man.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Nothing interesting happened. Nothing. Uh.
yeah, man. That's how we're gonna do it tonight.
Okay. Okay. All right. We gonna move on, Mario.
Yeah, you snuck that one in on me. Y'all ain't give me time to go get mine. So, but oh well. All is well, man. Had a good week. Short weekend. I wish it could have been longer. But really can't complain about anything, man. Uh, just good week, good weekend, man. It was busy. Oh yes, changed my oil this weekend on my truck, and I had a
Hey, Steve.
See what
Hey,
Steve said? Was
right,
destroyed.
Steve.
hey, man.
Right. It's your fault. You ain't sure you didn't show us how to do it before you
Right,
left.
man.
No.
You ain't show me how to do all
So
that, man.
your fault, sir. We just supposed to figure this thing out.
We
Yeah,
we we
okay,
we just
whatever.
we the thing said go live, so we went live. That's
So
what
we
that
went live, and now we are here. So deal with it. But anyway, dude, I had about a 2.5 foot wide, 3.5 foot long oil trail in my driveway. I'm changing my oil.
wow.
Whoa.
I had a
Wait.
massive oil spill in my driveway, but I was able to get it up and all of that good stuff. So other than that, that was the only really exciting thing that happened. I just, had a weekend of honeydews and
Wait.
did.
What happened with the oil though? Did you take the plug out and then
Um,
had the pan underneath it or
I
something?
bought. I have a oil pan, but I went to Walmart and got this new contraption where it's like a concealed pan where when your oil falls into it, it's
Yeah,
already in
yeah,
like a container with a spout
Yeah.
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't draining when it was falling into the top of the pan. It wasn't draining into the pan fast enough, so it started overflowing
Oh,
onto the
I
ground.
got you.
Oh.
So I
Okay.
was like,
Okay. Maybe you need to let somebody else do your oil change for you.
no, no, sir. I can change. Been changing my own oil for a long time, sir. No,
Well,
no.
obviously that was a problem, and so we just gonna leave
That
it
was
right there.
equipment failure, sir.
It was the
Equipment,
equipment, not the operator.
It was
not to
equipment
operate.
failure.
Equipment failure.
Okay,
I've been changing oil since I was 14.
Yeah, we're gonna
okay.
go. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it.
Yeah, we gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever.
man,
Where's
listen,
your boy, man? How was your
Talk
weekend?
to me, James Fred.
man. I had a chilled out weekend, man. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do Saturday. I went to the gym, came home from the gym, man, and uh, I literally sat in front of my computer watching videos, butt naked, chilling.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Just chilling.
Oh my, that hurt my
You know
eye
what I'm saying?
right
I came home from the Came home from the gym, took a shower, and just dried off and just sat there butt naked.
Okay, James. Okay.
The rest of the day, just
Whoa.
so I had a very chilled
Sarah,
out. Hey,
Sarah
Boy, how you
Conkle,
doing?
thank you for joining us for the first time, Sarah Conkle. I'm sorry you had to hear this display of utter foolishness you just had. James Fred
that is not the way. That's not the way to welcome somebody to the show.
Right, to welcome
That
somebody
was-
to the show
that
for the
was-
first
that
time.
That was how it went. That was.
Oh
I mean,
my God!
So y'all trying to tell me that you have never just got out the shower and just walked around the house the rest of the day butt naked?
Hey, what I'm not about to do is have this conversation. We can move on to crime reduction. And cheers to that. Let's go,
I'm
man.
just saying, man. I know.
Sarah, sorry you had to come in on that. Glad you joined us. Hopefully, you'll get something, or we'll get something constructive out of this night after all.
Absolutely,
it's coming. It's
yeah,
coming.
we're gonna have a real.
I
good
promise,
discussion,
but this
man.
is how we start the show off. So,
But I do want to reiterate
talk,
to everybody, man. Listen, we are taking the show up another notch this year. We are really going to try to do some big things. The four of us are going to try to get together and do some lives when we're all in the same location. That may be something here in the next week that I'll be able to set up with a location for us. Like I said, we got merch coming, man. We're gonna have some Four Black Guys merch, man, that we really gonna want y'all to get behind us. Huh?
Where is the other guy?
Mr.
other black guy?
Mr. Stephen Myers.
Yeah,
Steve dipped out on us, man, and went on a cruise to. I think he went on a cruise to Bora Bora or someplace.
Oh, Mr. Muckety Muck, Mr.
Right, you know what I'm
high
saying?
and exalted Muckety Muck went on a cruise, huh?
Yeah, he dipped out on us, man. You know, this guy takes about 4 or 5 cruises a year.
I mean, he just came off a cruise to some part of Mexico.
Right, to Mexico, right.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's I guess when you got it like that, you got it like that.
Oh, okay, Stephen. Okay, let's see if y'all on the cruise playing with this band, huh?
Right.
On the cruise, or last cruise.
Right. Last cruise, he took over the band.
Took over the band, right?
He's supposed to be listening to the folk. He done went up there and confiscated the folk keyboard.
Tell them Joker, put me in A flat. Put me in A flat.
Right.
Facts. That's facts. That's bad.
I'm sorry. Me. He said he went to the Bahamas.
Bahamas. Excuse me.
Right.
Oh wow.
That's. I guess
us
that's
regular
a tier,
people. We have to change our own oil.
Right. That's a tier lower than Bora Bora. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
while I'm changing my oil, he's in the Bahamas. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Steve dipped out on us, y'all, but that's all right.
Because regular folks got to get up in the morning, go to work. He'll be over there.
Right.
He's
drinking mimosas and pina coladas and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Let's see how you do. That's all right.
Well, all right, man. We are going to go ahead and get into this. We're going to talk about crime reduction. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is that we all know here in Birmingham, the crime rate has been on a steady rise year after year. Didn't matter which mayor we had, didn't matter which police chief we had, the crime rate is jumping. And we have to come up with practical ways. And what I mean by practical, I mean real ways, okay? Things that don't work, extra policing does not work, stronger sentencing does not work. The people doing the crimes aren't afraid of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid of you giving them 20 years for a murder.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid of seeing the police riding around. They're just not afraid of it.
Okay.
And our mayor, Lord bless his heart, as far as I'm concerned, and this is my opinion, has really dropped the ball on crime. And I can say that because
right. I want to know, why do you say he's dropped the ball?
Because he ran on crime prevention and crime reduction.
Okay.
That was his campaign. Okay.
Wow.
That was what he talked about. He even made the statement and said that crime was the mayor's problem. And this is when William Bell was still mayor.
He sure did. He did say that now. Well,
so my point is that now that he's been mayor going in his second term now, for some reason, people say you're hating or something like that when you say that the crime is his problem.
Okay.
And they say things like, well, the mayor can't do anything about it. Well, but he wasn't saying that when William Bell was mayor.
Okay.
He wasn't saying that then.
I think he's gotten in office and realized the reality of the situation. It's easy to make statements like that standing from the outside looking in.
Well, here's my thing. Here's the biggest issue that I have is when you start blaming the people. When you start saying things like the people won't tell or the people don't give us information. And this no snitch policy that the streets have is getting, listen, the police force has the biggest no snitch policy in the world. Period. Okay. So my thing is, if you're only going to put it on the people, and this is just me talking, if you're going to put it on the people, then let the people solve the problem. Okay. In other words, tell the people.
James, hold up. Uh-huh. Don't run past that. You saying let the people resolve the problem?
Let the people resolve the problem. I'm finna explain it to you.
Okay. My bad.
It's simple. Tell the people, for instance, the 16-year-old girl that got shot a few weeks ago. Know who the guy is. Know where the guy be at. Tell the people to bring him to me and won't nothing happen to you. If you bring him to me dead or alive, won't nothing happen.
Wow. Now you know good and well they can't do that.
But you can't blame the people for the problem and then not let them solve it. If you're gonna blame it on me, if you're gonna tell me I'm not, listen, Mario, listen, this is all I'm saying. This guy killed somebody. Obviously, he doesn't have a problem with that. You want me to snitch on this dude?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if y'all gonna find this cat. Everybody in the hood know each other. You know that. So if I go down there snitching, what if he find out that I'm the one that snitched and y'all haven't caught him? See, these dangerous people that the police and everything.
James, okay. Don't do all the talking. Well, I'm going to tell you when Mario responds is I'm going to talk about that snitching part with
well, let's hear about it. Let's hear about it.
Police officer. Trust me.
Okay, well let me give you this before you step in, Lovejoy. At the same time, I do hear what you're saying about no snitch policy, but keep in mind a lot of the crime that happens here in Birmingham is domestically related. And what I mean by that is the people involved with the crime know each other.
Right. Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's hard to say we're gonna crack down on crime because you can't regulate how I deal with an alt with somebody else. And those alts usually may end violently.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. So you can't really regulate how I deal with another person. How? Okay. And then if this person knows it was that person, like you said, the street has that no snitch policy. Well, I know it was Ray, but I ain't finna tell on Ray because if it get back, then Ray gonna get at me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we deal with here in this capacity. Yeah, we do have crimes in the sense of car break-ins and things of that nature. But for the most part, most of the crime that happens here is I'm saying domestically related. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's situations that involve people that know each other.
Right. Now I will give him credit. Non-violent crimes did go down.
Okay.
I'll give him that.
Non-violent crimes.
I
Did
gotta give him that, Lovejoy. I gotta give him.
Okay.
I'm not gonna leave it at the bad. I'm gonna give him his props. The non-violent, the break-ins, the car break-ins, the house invasions, all that stuff went down. I'll give him that,
James. But that's semantics. That's reports. That's data.
But that's all.
The criminal offense is right up in your face that we can see through the media, and we hear about it through our community.
Right.
I think, Mario, a term that I would use, you use domestic.
Mm-hmm.
I would use community.
Okay.
Because it deals more with the community. One of the things I learned when I went to the Drug Task Force Division is people ain't got no problem snitching on folks. Let me tell you how. Or why, rather. I would just hold a charge over James' head and say, hey, wear this hat that has a camera embedded, or wear this particular belt that has a camera embedded. You don't have to do anything. Just go back to the house. Go back to the house and buy a zip or two. And I'll take it from there. You don't want them charges hanging on your head. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to snitch. In the heart of what I learned, James, Mario, that the hardest dude, the street dudes, are the biggest snitches you ever want to meet. When the brother start thinking about them,
I'll agree.
They are repeat offenders, and they go back, and ain't no coming. Man,
right.
Look, you remember The Wire? Huh? You remember the show The Wire that came on?
Yeah.
Omar.
Yeah.
Omar was a dopest stick-up kid in the neighborhood, but stayed in the police face.
Yes.
Telling on folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'll make an admission here. Never seen The Wire.
Trying to download the virus or something?
Huh?
Do we have somebody trying to
download that there?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. No. Go ahead, Mario. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've never seen The Wire.
What? Actually, Mario, I went and watched it last month. I binge watched it because I had never seen it until then.
And from my understanding, I mean, it was a cultural icon type show.
It's actually a good show. It really is.
What up, J Mac? Man.
Hey, man. Hey, can I say something about? I think it's easy for us to shift the responsibility on the leadership, more specifically the mayor, because of his platform.
He's a target.
He's easy target.
He's a target.
But honestly, we've known this historically speaking. That ain't really even his job.
Okay, explain. Why is that not his job? Explain.
His job is community agenda. You run on that platform, so that entails we're going to reduce crime by 12%,
right?
Or we're going to better the roads, or we're going to put more community development stuff in. Those are platforms that they run in, knowing good and hell well when you get in office, there are other powers that control the narrative. So, and we've been duped for years and years and years, thinking that when they get up and they say all these things, that they're actually going to do it. Which, in my opinion, we're deceiving ourselves, because once they get in there, they start serving their own agendas.
Well, we seeing that. Absolutely.
Well, can I? So you're basically saying that positions like mayor and maybe president are figurehead positions, and they hold no real power.
They hold no real power. They are what we call burning bushes. They're there for looks and say a bunch of empty stuff to get your emotions all stirred up. But when it comes down to the real agenda of that concerns us, nothing is ever done. We just saw that believe it or not, we saw that with, and I hope I don't step on any toes when I say this, we saw that with President Obama. We thought he was going to serve the black agenda, didn't do absolutely anything. We just had a black man in the White House.
It was a
Then
good look for
Biden ran, believe it or not, Biden ran on that same
the same
ticket.
platform.
Absolutely.
Had
Ran,
this-
and then got in there and didn't do anything. Hadn't even served us now one piece of chicken.
Hell, he hadn't even served up his own agenda yet.
He hadn't served up his own agenda. And I'm wondering if he even know what that. Does he remember what he said he was going to?
I don't think he do.
Wow.
I don't think he
So
remembers.
they're figureheads,
Wow.
Mario. They're figureheads.
Wow.
Man. They're
Yeah.
not there to really affect change.
But they're there to absorb the blame for it all, however.
Yeah, but watch this. I will absorb the blame too.
Why?
If I know after it's over,
You set for life.
I'm set for life.
Mhm.
Oh, I can take criticism for a while.
Mhm.
You know, and there's a greater interest that is being served. So all this stuff, we can blame, and I'm not there in Birmingham, but we can blame the mayor if we want to.
Mhm.
He's there for a reason.
So let me ask you this thing. Then if that's the case, you know, before we get to the other side of this, then what can be done? Because the blame to the mayor is not that I want him to go out and start fighting crime. My thing is, where's the plan? Even
Where's
if you
the
just
plan?
have a plan.
Where's the what, James?
Where's
where-
the
where-
plan? Where
right,
hell?
where-
What is the plan?
Right. That's what I'm saying. We
Mm.
just even if it can't be executed, at least tell me what you're thinking about
I
how
think
they're
the
going
plan
to
is
do
on
it.
a sheet of paper in somebody's office, and that's all it is. The plan is to introduce what's the bill? The bill that's still sitting on Congress for the
Voter right.
what's the black guy that been sitting there for all this
Emmett
time?
Till?
The Emmett Till bill.
Uh-huh.
That's all it is. It's on a piece of paper, and that's the solution. To make it seem like it's something that it's really, really not, and all it is just writing on a piece of paper. It serves no interest at all.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump into the other side of this thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Then when it comes to the public, then what is our responsibility to help with this problem? Because I want people to understand I do hold the mayor accountable for some things, but I also hold people accountable. Because
Okay.
if you think about back in the days, and this is just me coming up, you know, doing some of the things that I did, there were certain things we didn't allow on the streets. You couldn't go around killing no kids. Birmingham got a problem with these dudes spraying these guns everywhere, shooting kids and shooting innocent people. You couldn't do that. You shot a kid in the hood back in the day, they wouldn't found you, and you came up missing.
Mm-hmm.
See, even the rules to the game have changed.
Mm.
These dudes went and got these super guns, these SKs and these AKs and stuff, not knowing how to shoot them. Them bullets don't fly straight when you doing all this here. You know what I'm saying? And so
No
you just
training.
shoot. You're not walking up on your op and just popping them. You just spraying into a house or spraying into a car, and whatever happens, happens. See,
Okay.
this is when I made the post that said it's going to take the streets to fix the streets.
Well, I you know me, I always start at square one. It's going to start with the next generation. It won't be a situation that'll change overnight, because
No.
parents, you have to first be a parent and not a friend to your child, to raise your child not to grow up into that next element of criminal element. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Having been a juvenile detention officer, what I can say, and some people may get mad, a lot of the kids that I dealt with in the juvenile detention system, if you follow them home, you can see why they were the way
While
they
they were
were.
like,
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
if it starts at home first, and we have to stop as parents okaying criminal behavior mindset.
the problem is the parents have the same mindset.
My point exactly.
See, I can remember, and for me, man, and I think about it now, and I was just such an idiot. I can remember when I had my first son,
Mm-hmm.
and at 2 years old, I'm putting pistols in his hand.
Right.
And because I'm stupid,
Mm-hmm.
I'm dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and it just it thank God that I grew out of that in enough time to where it didn't become a culture for him.
Right.
But I can remember doing
Right.
stuff like that. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? I can remember doing stuff like that. And
Right.
when I see it nowadays, I see the music that we play around our kids
There you
and all
go.
that kind of stuff. You playing this music where shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, and I'm a screw and suck on everything. And then we had to know to look crazy when the young dudes want to shoot up everything and the little girls want to screw everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But look
so
what
can
we
I?
walked into. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, little
So can I jump in and say something?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
So I just learned something, and I called both of y'all for this because I didn't understand how this thing worked. And so they tell me Call of Duty is a mother.
You gotta have Call of Duty, baby.
But hold on, when they start describing, man, what Call of Duty did and all the shooting and the bombs and all of that stuff, I was like, so as parents, are we validating this?
Yes. Let me tell you something. These games like Call of Duty and all, it's more addictive than crack.
But
I
look,
can
that's a
remember-
military game, though. But that's
Yeah,
under the
but-
guise of
Yeah, but Mario, you can run through there, man, and shoot up folk, bruh. I can remember when the first one came out. I'm calling off work, sitting, playing Call of Duty. Just
okay. Watch this.
just the violence of it.
Watch this.
Okay, but
I got you there. It's game, but I look at it like this. It is part of the music culture. It's part of what they see on TV. It's part of the video game culture. Video games, I wouldn't say Call of Duty per se, but Grand Theft Auto, which is games those games, magnify criminal behavior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like once again, having dealt with juveniles in a certain age range, not Call of Duty. Call of Duty was one of the games they played, but they mainly played games like Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
And so it was all about criminal activity, selling drugs, robbing people, shooting people. It was about the criminal underground of it all. So that is a game that they gravitated to heavily.
Listen.
All right. So now let me see if I can bring this full circle, and let's see if we can extract the hypocrisy of this.
Okay.
So we want to blame the mayor that crime is still steady rising.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to put the responsibility on him, but then we said that the community has the weighted responsibility of how we're training our kids. When in fact it is, I'm playing devil's advocate today. Hell, I'm halfway drunk anyway.
Advocate, Satan.
Huh?
As an advocate, Satan, go ahead.
But then us as parents, we would go invest $700 in a PS5 to allow our kids to play Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
We also do things like, watch this, when there is an alert or an awareness of that there's crime that's going on in our city, we put more police power behind it. But then when the police come, we say that we don't need that much policing in our community when we're trying to fix a problem. So what is it, guys? What are we going to stand on, and what is our premise here? Either we're going to let them do what they need to do, or we're not, or we're going to allow criminal behavior to run rampant in our community, and it's really our fault because we endorse that foolishness again through the music, through gaming, and all of those things. So what do we do?
So my thing is I don't have a problem with policing. All I'm saying is more policing doesn't help. It doesn't fix anything. If the money, this is where a lot of people, when we talked about defunding the police, it was things like that most people were talking about. Nobody was talking about doing away with the police. What we're saying is use the money toward things that actually work. More policing has never worked in the history of policing. It hasn't worked because they're not scared of that. And the police criminals, listen, when I see the police as a criminal, I don't stop being a criminal. I go be a criminal someplace else. So you don't stop me. All you do is move me at the most.
You move it. Okay.
That's it. So we want the police to go and keep doing their thing. What I'm saying is that as the mayor, all right, if you're gonna tell me because you want my vote that I have an agenda and I have a plan to help with this crime, that's fine. But when I vote for you, show me that. Even if it doesn't work. Check this. Even if it don't work, show me the plan that you put in place. If it doesn't work, fine. That's because the people, it didn't work. But at least there was a plan. With Mr. Woodfin, there was no plan. It was, you elected me. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to appoint somebody to help the LGBTQ people. Then I'm going to go to work on the stadium that I want to get here.
It's an agenda. Okay, so let's go this route. The practical side of it is, correct me if I'm wrong, crimes and violent crimes typically happen to lack of a better word, happen in impoverished communities.
In a city.
Right. Economics is definitely a part of the poor.
It's a part of the situation. Okay. So now if your agenda as an official is, in order to change the situation, you have to start at the bottom level with children. What has happened to community programs that help boost the confidence of children, help teach them things?
Now you're thinking what I'm thinking.
You understand what I'm saying? When you start closing, what are those boys and girls clubs? When you start closing these community-based clubs or organizations that will help train and teach your children, maybe teach your child a skill that would keep them off the streets. Give them something. When you start cutting funding for programs like that, pulling those out of our communities, look what has happened to our communities over the course of several decades.
Okay, and so guess what, Mario? Guess what happens? So that then is not a municipal pattern. What the hell am I trying to say?
Municipal problem.
Municipal problem. Now that becomes a state problem. And it would seem to me that money is being funneled to private prisons as opposed to
community program. Got you.
So now it becomes bigger now because money's not being funneled in our community, and historically speaking, it has never been. You remember when we was in school, we had the Torah book, we had reduced and free lunch. We didn't have the money that was separated for the schooling system, Birmingham schooling system, as much as it was like across the mountain, Mount Brook, that's 80 years. We did not have those resources available to us. So now it almost seemed like there's an agenda to keep us in this exact same spot.
Okay. See, that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay. Hold on.
But we're talking about trying to reduce something in order for some other things to be magnified.
Right.
But when there are certain variables involved, you can't.
Okay. Highlight that comment Jay made, and I'm gonna tie it into what you're talking about, depending on the outcome. Went to a gun show in Hoover and saw young people buying assault rifles and ammo, counting from wads of money. Jay, what was in the ethnicity of these particular people? Were they black kids? Were they white kids?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we went to one out in Tressville last week, and there was a mix, man. There was young black kids, young white kids, young Mexican kids out there grabbing them rifles, snatching them up. I mean, snatching them up. I'm like, man, like I say, I couldn't put it on one ethnicity or another because it was all of them. Like everybody was out there, man. They were snatching these rifles up, man, and it's like wow.
But they're not going to regulate gun shows. They're not going to.
Right.
It generates too much money, and agenda is being pushed.
They're
trying to get those assault rifles into the black communities. For what? So we can extinguish each other.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
Because those crimes typically don't happen on outside of your community. They typically happen in the community. you commit or the people committing them right, do them in the community that they live in
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
associated with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
keep things like watch this, James. Watch this, Mario. Keep things like loan sharks, those payday loans places inside of our community. Keep
Yes.
things like liquor stores. Keep things like, and it's not a. Have y'all ever thought about this? If you go into a like a grocery store, that the alcohol content is greater than a bag of chips aisles now, so they can keep us the drugs, the alcohol, the firearms in our community. Eventually, their agenda is going to be met, and that's self-extinction. I mean, we're gonna kill each other if that's a word. If I'm saying it right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Self-extinction. Yeah. But that's always been the push. Well, that has been the push for us to take our own selves out. And it's not to say that white people don't people commit crimes in the community that they are closest to.
Right.
And,
It's all
and
different.
so white people commit crimes at the same rate in their own community. You understand? But it's only really pushed, and you only really hear about it more so in our communities. But at the same time, you will never hear on a white radio station music that teaches them to murder or kill or demean
Man,
their
our
own.
music is terrible.
Our music
Right.
is right.
Bruh.
And the younger you start them, the deeper it gets embedded that this is just how it is.
Absolutely.
Having been a juvenile detention officer, I was sitting up and somebody said something earlier about James. I think you said something earlier about you putting the gun in your kid's hand or something like that. You were doing something. Listening to one of the kids saying that he had a little boy, and the guy couldn't have been older than about 16. And he had a little baby, and it was a particular song or something. But the contents of the song was just about, for lack of a better word, hood crap. You know what I'm saying? And negativity this, negativity that. But it was a real destructive song, and what he was teaching me to do and say. And I let him talk, and he was talking to all the other guys, and I said, listen, I said, I'm listening to what you teaching your kid. I said, how did that work for you? How did that work for you? I'm back on the ship. Internet is trash. Okay. I said, how did that work for you? I said, everything that you're trying to teach your kid, you listen to it. Where did it lead you? It led you in here sitting in front of me. Now I got to tell you to go to sleep at 8 o'clock, wake up at 7 o'clock. Go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right. I said, so why would you teach that to your child? Do you want him to follow the same path that you follow? No, I don't. I want better for him. Okay, well, you have to start teaching him better. It's your job. And I said, I know this is going to sound real corny. I said, but it's going to sound lame. I said, but your job as a parent is to impart as much good in your child as early as you can, for as long as you can, before you have to turn them loose into the system.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I said, if you don't impart any good into them, where are they going to get it from? Because they're not going to get it in school. They're not going to get it on the radio. They're not going to really get it on TV. What are you going to do to impart that good into your child? If you don't do it, who is? He stopped. He thought. He said, I never thought about it like that before. I said, you cannot do this to a child at 2, 3, 4. This is the age that they are soaking up information.
Absolutely.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So by the time they get to middle school or 10, 11, 12, 13, their personality is already formed. And if all you've done is just flood them with garbage, then now you have just turned the next criminal loose on the street.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yes.
So yeah.
But again, how do we reduce, and it's almost an oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
How do we reduce crime? Crime is not a thing that you reduce. I know we want to think that we can.
What do you do?
again, tonight I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay.
I just want people to think about these terms that we're using.
Okay.
There is stuff we can do. I think back in the day when we really become like unified in our efforts and we create this Black unity, I honestly think that that's terrifying and it's intimidating to other communities of people. Imagine us coming together and we're saying the same thing. Like, okay, y'all remember, and I'm not, y'all remember this. When you played outside and the street lights would come on,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to get in the house, if you did something crazy across the street, Mr. Johnny will whoop your tail, pick the phone up and call and say, hey, that boy was over here acting up. I tanned his hind paws. Thank you, Johnny. I'll make sure that when he gets in, he think about what he did. Then you get home
and you get another
one. You get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Absolutely.
are the things that I think we're missing. We are so easily offended now if someone says something to our kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating this division in our community. You ain't gonna say nothing to my kids. I wish you would say something to my kids.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
I done told people, you catch mine acting up, man, listen.
But that's that whole situation that we were kind of talking about before we came on air. Ladies, don't get mad at me. But a lot of times women brood over their children to the point it does take a village, Ma. It does take a village. And that's what I was trying to say. That's what Lovejoy was trying to say. It does take a village. But young mothers that's coming up, the younger generation of mothers that have come up that are now raising kids don't want nobody to say nothing to their kids.
Right.
They view everybody and everything else as a confrontational threat. You know,
absolutely.
When we were coming up, if a grown person said you did this, you did it, and you got your tail told. What reason would an adult have to lie on a kid?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If Miss such and such around the corner say, hey, that boy was tearing up such and such bushes in their backyard, you got your tail toe up because Miss such and such wasn't gonna lie.
That's right.
About you. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
And just like you said, if Mr. Such and such tore your tail up and call your daddy when you got to the house,
yes,
you got another one.
Wait a minute, say that one more time, Mario.
If Mr. Such and such saw you doing something and tore your tail up and called your daddy,
okay,
and then you got another one at home when you got home because daddy was at home. I can name all of the men that were on my street. We had daddies at home.
Yeah.
Right.
I can name all of the men on my street.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We might have one or two single mother home, but for the most part, most of the daddies were in the house. You know, you would hear Mr. Such and such and his wife arguing, but they were still at home. But they you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
but they were still home.
That's right. And the interesting part about that is, even if there was a single mother in a household within that community, if she called down the street and said, "Can you say something to this Negro?" He will walk down there with his sandwich in his hand and say, "Hey, boy, what's your problem?"
Yes.
And what happens is there was a reverence for them guys because they only said it once in our community. They weren't gonna argue with you. Before you knew it, you was choking on your blood, your own blood, because you disrespect. You stepped into an arena that was not yours yet.
Right.
Then they would come and they would teach you things, teach you how to build things, teach you how to watch this, change tires and all that. And they weren't trying to get with your single mom. They just wanted to see you go up because they knew if you got outside our community, they're gonna train you.
Right.
They're gonna knock you across the head. So I'd rather for you get knocked across the head in our community, as opposed to. So James, here's how I think we reduce crime. Maybe a tad bit old-fashioned, but I think we need to go back to men being men in our community and us taking time to make sure we see about those that are coming behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And say, come on this way.
Mm-hmm.
Whisper in his ear like, yeah, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You fucked up. Okay, now let me show you how you correct that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I dare they're not going to be so forgiving. What if we wasn't so scared of the game bangers, the guy that's buying the ARs, the AKs? What if we just walk, hey man, what's up, nigga?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if we could do that and not so worried about these little jokers just gonna blow our heads off?
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with that right now. Deal with a dude, 16 years old yesterday, took a BB gun to school, had BBs in his pillowcase, and his daddy can't say nothing to him. So he brought him to me, and I went outside to him. I was like, look, man, I'm from the streets of Birmingham. I don't give two shits. You got braces in your mouth. You ain't hard. You live a middle class life, nigga. You ain't hard, man.
Right.
Man, stand up. Take that do-rag off while I'm talking to you. Stand up. Put your hand out your pocket. Stand up. You got some money in your pocket. Stand up. The dude responded to me. He said he never responded like that to me. I said, that's because he don't understand protocol.
Right.
There was authority in my voice. I wasn't going to play with him because the very moment he said something disrespectful, guess what I was going to do?
Pop him in the chair.
I was going to pop him in the chest, knock his ass out. I was going to make him remember. So I think, James, to get back to what we're saying, I think that's going to be one of the things that help our community.
So, all right. So one of the biggest answers that we have is getting the men back into the communities to help handle this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and we've said it, and I know, ladies, y'all don't like to hear this. I know a lot of women love to think that they're strong women and they raise their sons well. And listen, you did. But there are certain things that they get from having that man there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not a bash to you. That's just facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's happened is men have become so complacent to where we don't even care no more. Mario, in your instance, how many other juvenile detention guards would take the time to even tell that guy that?
Yeah.
How many of them would even take the time to even worry about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't my son. Forget it.
Mm-hmm.
See, one thing I think about is that it's not enough for me to just think about my son. I got to think about these jokers he goes to school with every day.
Right.
What are their mentalities like? What is their home life like?
Mm-hmm.
Because my son got all the sense in the world, and that's fine. But what about these jokers that's in his class?
Mm-hmm.
What about his peers, his friends, people he hanging out with?
Ooh. Put up there. Right there. That's I'm glad you said that, Ma. I'm
glad a woman said that.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
A mother can't be mom and dad. You are right.
Yeah.
From a male standpoint, stability comes from a man. Men are absolute in what we say and what we do. When we say do this, boy, that's it.
That's it.
I just spoke. Do what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all remember when your
nurturing energy.
Your daddy can just make a face and make you get in line.
And not saying your mama can't, but it's something that about the authority that comes from a man that carries a different weight for a boy.
Does, man. I don't care what you say. It does. And we can become so modern in our thinking, but it's still, man, it's still that way. A man, watch this. A man knows another man.
Absolutely.
Gang recognized
when you talking to him, or you like, this nigga ain't worth. Excuse me, this just ain't worth nothing. Right. But a man talking to another man, it's just some things. It's just like it's unsaid. It's common.
Mm-hmm.
It's common. Okay, tell you this quick story. Asia's working at the school up here at Extended Day. And so she's working with this little girl who lives like right up the street from the school. But I said, no, she's a real pretty girl and she don't need to be walking at night home. All right. So one night, she decided she was going to do something else. The daddy called me and said, "Hey, have you seen such and such?" I said, "No, she went up to school. Otherwise, I would have brought her home."
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I found that little girl. I took her home and I said, "Okay, hey Marcus, here's what we're gonna do. Here's my number. I'll make sure she's at your front door. I won't pull off until I see her walk in the house." He said, "Tony, I really appreciate that." He said, "Now I need to go in here and deal with her because she thinks she can do what she wants to do in this house." I said, "Now, as a unified front, I want to come in there with you to let her know, okay, you won't get away with this next time.
Right.
You get away this time.
Right.
I got you. I got you.
Got you.
What if we came together and start talking about things that are concerning this next generation who's going to be leading us?
Mm-hmm.
What if we talk about it and just say, okay, no, you can play if you want to. We done played all the games too, so we know what you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
What if we came together like in shameless plug, Brave Men, where we started from 7 to 25 years old and we putting good stuff in them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Brave Men is about.
That's good.
Teaching them how to tie a tie, something that's tying a tie, something that's for as a gig line when you dress up, something that's for what pair of shoes you put with this. When you shake a man's hand, and the worst feeling in the almost cuss in the world is shaking a joker's hand, and his hand is flimsy,
wobbly,
wobbly, and his hand sweaty. Man, I'm like, I'm ready to slap that joker. When I grab a joker's hand, my daddy told me to grip it and look in that joker's eye, and let's see who can squeeze the hardest.
Squeeze the hardest, right?
Duh.
That stuff ain't taught no more, y'all.
It's not.
Those
It's
are
not.
basic fundamentals as men that we should be imparting to other guys.
Right.
Put your hands up, dude. I want to see
And
that.
I think stuff like that, Lovejoy. I think little stuff like that is lost. People
Yeah, I think I'm drunk now, so y'all.
I think people think that it doesn't mean anything, but it does.
It does.
Because it's just certain things. You look a man in his eyes when you talk.
You talk to him,
and you talk boldly, and you mean what you say.
You mean what you say.
And these are the things that we were taught that somewhere along the lines got lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I can admit, my first son, I had to play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Because things that I was taught about being a man, I didn't initially teach him.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to play catch up when I figured out, like, whoa, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
What is, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did I go from here to here?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, y'all, check this out, James. Check this out. My son was here. We were living in Decatur at the time. My son was here. It was wintertime. Had to go rake some leaves. He couldn't been no more than 4 years old. And I said, "Hey, Keisha, put his jacket on." She said, "Why? It's cold outside." I said, "Put that little joker jacket on." We put his jacket on. I put a broom in his hand and put him at the corner of the lot while I was raking leaves. I said, he ain't gonna be sitting in no house while
I'm out here.
Right.
He 4 years old. He got a broom in his hand outside in the cold with me. He can stand still right there. Because he doesn't understand you don't have the luxury of comfortability.
Right.
Put his little 4-year tail outside, and I put a rake in his hand, put a little skull cap on his hand, and he stood his tail right there till I finished raking leaves.
That's
Let me tell you something.
They have to see it.
Right. Justin,
they have to see it.
Justin can come on this live right now and tell you I done got on his nerves since the day he was born. I got pictures of Justin with me in a building with a vacuum and a dust mop in his hand, helping me clean a building at 1 year old.
Right.
And nigga, you better not miss a spot at all. When I started doing videos, I got a camera in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't, like you said, Lovejoy, you ain't finna sit in his house and just chill out while I'm out here working. That's not it.
Right.
Yeah, but guys, I ain't gonna be a hypocrite. I'm the biggest wuss. My daughters got me.
Well, the daughters are different. We ain't talking about the daughters right now. We ain't talking about the daughters right now.
Different ball game. But let's bring that back full circle. What's the fix? What's the fix for the crime in the community? Is not the mayor. It's going to be the men in the community standing up and being men again.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. That it's going to be the fix for this because we what is 5 is we 55 minutes in. It's going to be the men standing up in the community, taking control of the community and being men again in the black community. That's all I can talk about because that's all I know. That's all.
So how do we?
I've ever been a part of.
How do we? And you mentioned black community, and that's interesting because we can talk about that too. But how do we rally the men back to that? Because like I said earlier, some men have become complacent. It's not that they're not men. It's just that they've become complacent. They've said to themselves, man, listen, it's lost. It is what it is. I could have said that. I could have said I messed up so bad with my first son that, man, ain't no point in me even trying to catch up. But I did. And I let him know, hey, stuff that I did with you back in the day, I was dead wrong and stupid. That ain't how we operate. That's not what I was taught, and I was wrong for teaching you that. So let me show you the right way to do this. Let me help you navigate this thing the way it's supposed to be navigated. Because I don't want you to have the excuse. And even though I wasn't there, listen, he lived in Michigan with his mama. I'm here. But I let him know I'll get on a bus and come up there and beat your ass. Because I did it. I've done it. I've gotten on a 24-hour bus ride just to go up there to beat his behind and got on the bus and came right back to Birmingham. I made sure he understood that.
Can I interject this too?
Go ahead.
I think there has to be an aroma of honor for the men in our community.
There you go.
That's one of the things that has been stripped away with us. And I'm not talking about all women, but they have been trained to dishonor the men. We are aroused by the inflation of our egos. So when you hear you ain't shit, you ain't gonna never be shit, just like your dad, and all this stuff like here, and saying all these things, and you're a little nigga and all this stuff.
Right.
This honor is gone. So how is that little boy going to be able to look at his father in a sense of honor and look up to him? Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
I don't care if you're 47 years old. If dad is still here, that's just a place of honor that you have for him.
Right.
So how do we rally the community? I think it starts within the community where we start putting the man back in the place that he deserves and he should be. Much is given, much is required of him. Make him stand up and be a man. Make him push him out there. And women, you don't have to feel like you have to do everything. Push the responsibility on him. Make him grow up. Because what we're training now is boys who has no vision. They're indecisive for their lives. And now we marrying them off to these women. Now the women running the house and making the decision and all that stuff, and then they don't honor the man and all that stuff. I just want to see another big mama who, watch this, who still makes her husband plays because she's honored to do it.
Come on, Lovejoy. Hold on, Lovejoy. That's not happening in the era of the independent woman.
Right.
That's not happening in the era of girls run the world, women do it for themselves.
All the single ladies.
All the single ladies. That's not happening now. That's why you have a rise now in the climate. And ladies, forgive me, but I'm gonna call it like I see it. You have a rise in the climate of feminism.
Yes.
In this society, and it's bled over in the black community. That shit is a blight on the black community.
Yes, sir. It ain't even have nothing to do with us.
Right. It never had anything to do with us. So with that being said, in order to honor the man, you're gonna have to kind of come out of that. I'm using this terminology for like the whole black girls rock. I ain't saying black girls don't rock or black women don't rock, But when you totally negate the man out of the situation, that is a recipe for destruction in the black community.
Right. Right.
That's
That's
been the
it.
agenda. That's been the
Huh?
agenda. And for us to reduce crime, and all that stuff, I went on a call one time, y'all. I went on a call one time. I got to the house, real big black dude. He owned about 1,500 acres. Didn't have a shirt on, but had on overalls. Big old joke. His hand was just massive for no reason. And the son called the police because he's saying that he was being abused. See the system. I went to the house and said, "Sir, I'm coming here doing a welfare check. Your son called. DHR's on his way. Your son called and said that he has been abused." He says, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you something, sir. He said, I'm gonna ask you to leave my property. I said, excuse me, sir? I'm going to ask you to leave my property. He said, that little joker put his nasty feet under my sheet. He drank my water. I clothed him. And when I asked him to do something, I expect him to do it. Now he says, now I'm not going to disrespect you, Mr. Lawman. He said, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you to leave my property. You know what I did?
Turned it around and left.
I got in my patrol unit and I said, LR-16, I'm gonna go ahead and be 10-8. Status LR-16, I said, oh, we code 3, everything is clear. When that was a real man,
right?
And what he was doing was disciplining his son. And how dare the law or the system get in the way
of that?
His son. I ain't said a word to him because guess what? Another man knows another man. He wasn't disrespectful.
Right.
He was a big joker of a brute. And I did not want to tussle with this joker because he says, I'm disciplining my son. He eat my food. My food is in his belly. He's going to act like this. He says, the next time he call y'all, he's going to be dead in this yard. Dude.
Yes, sir. Right.
Hey, throw him up and walk off. Right. Hey, man.
To me, that was respect.
Right.
That was respect. And you think you're so privileged that you can call the system on a black man because you did not want to do what you were told. Guy turned out to be this great guy. He's an accountant now. And he said, man, I sure appreciate my dad. Dad died of cancer, prostate cancer. Dude, they leaving us, man. They leaving us, man. And I just want to hear a real old man just sit on the porch with him and just hear him talk. My granddaddy used to do that. He said, hey, Lovejoy, look. You see them, man? You see them jokers up there? I said, yes, I see them. He said, you know how long they've been talking? I said, yes, sir. He said, about 15, 30 minutes, huh? I said, yes, sir. He said, they lying about something. I said, why you say that, granddaddy? He said, because ain't that much truth in nothing. Little stuff like that, man.
Right.
Little stuff like that, we're missing it, guys. And if we're going to get back to the fundamental basics of our community, let's just sum it up to where it is. The voice of the black man is going to have to resonate throughout our community.
And that's James, we can wind down on that right there. We solved the problem, sir.
It's not a mayor problem. It's not a police problem. It's a black male's voice problem in our community.
There it is, Birmingham. There it is. That's how we reduce crime. That's how we get rid of some of these problems. Is we get the voice of the black man back at the top, and get some of these younger people actually listening to that voice. But ladies, we need y'all help for that.
Hey, can we go back to Mother Myers' comment up there?
Which one?
Mothers can't be mom and dad. You got to trust. You got to trust a dude with them.
Ladies, I know y'all. Listen. I'll be the first to tell y'all. Some of us have done a piss poor job of being men. I get that, but you're gonna have to trust us. You're gonna have to get that trust back for us at some point, because that's the only way we're gonna solve this thing. You can't do it by yourself.
And if you have a man in your situation, I don't hate to say it. I mean to say it. Sometimes women, it's your job as the woman in the situation to call us on our BS.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's
Stop
your
putting
job
up
to
with
call
the
us
crap.
on our BS. Hey, I need you to be the man in this house.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I need you to be the man in this situation. Do
Mhm.
what you need to do to make sure we all right. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
sometimes you have to call us on our stuff, refocus us.
Right.
You know,
And that's what happens. We get out of focus sometimes.
we get out
We're
of
not
focus
perfect.
sometimes.
We're not
And
perfect.
I'm gonna say this on the flip side. So, women, if you have a man in your house who is a man, please do not rob him of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
Stop challenging that man because you want to classify it as being an independent woman.
Right.
I'm telling you this because I see it every day. What you won't do, there's a woman, and I'm not suggesting cheating and all that stuff, but there's a sister out there who's desperate just to have the presence of a man in her house. When she will honor that joker, she will do whatever it takes just for his presence to be felt around her.
Right. Right.
So all of us need to go back and examine ourselves, check ourselves, and get rid of the ego and the pride and allow the man to fulfill his role while you fulfilling your role. That doesn't take anything away from you as a woman.
There you go, mama. There you go, mama. There you go, mama. There you go.
Right.
See, that's a woman that know how to be a mama, a woman like that.
Right.
I love her, boy.
That's that old school.
I love her.
Right there.
Yes, sir.
Don't disrespect that man out in public. You get him behind closed doors, and then watch this. Everything. Man, we should have Mama come live on so she can talk.
So
because that's from a woman.
Hey, she dropped. I love it. She dropped nuggets over here.
Here goes a question, y'all. How do you get the voice of the black man out in the community, reaching the children that need to be reached?
Good question. Very good question. How do you get it in the community? How do you get it in the community? Give me a thought. You making me think now, Sarah Bell. You are making me think. How do you get it in the community? Go ahead. You go.
First of all, you have to give him this proverbial megaphone so his voice is heard and respected. It's almost like until you know how the voice of the pastor is heard and honored. And watch this, no matter what that joker do, they would not let you disrespect their pastor. He has a platform. He has a voice. What am I saying? Same way in the black community, we have to find someone that we honor and give him a voice and push him out front. And honestly, sometime in the bedroom, we have to tell him what to say. But as long as he's saying it in an authoritative way, that gives voice to those in the black community. The black voice is authoritative and it's intimidating. We got to find somebody who's willing to accept the responsibility of becoming the clarion call for our community. Who's going to step up and take that responsibility?
Look, I hear you on that. I think it's simpler than that. I don't think it's one rally. Going back to when I was a kid, where black men gathered, black men talked, black men discussed, and from that point, it went back out into the community. Barbershops. I remember the conversations in barbershops. I remember what black men talked about and what they wasn't standing for in their house and what they wasn't doing in their house. You understand? Right. I'm the little boy sitting in the barbershop listening to grown men talk, having grown men conversations. And I'm watching those conversations in action in my community when I was growing up, what the dads did and allowed and didn't allow. So I say where black men gather, black men discuss.
Wow, that's good, Mario.
It is.
And then it goes back out into the community.
That's fire right there.
That's good.
You know,
and I think that's that point is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
It's crucial. So basically, as black men, we gotta start talking to each other again too.
There you go. There you go.
We
There
gotta
you
start discussing this stuff with each other. You know, we've become, once again, that word complacent, to where we don't even want to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even want to let each other know what's going on.
Intimidated is a word that we can use. Intimidated that Mario's going to do better. James is going to do better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold on to what I have and not share it with the community. And says, well, if James come up, Mario come up, I come up, we now bring our resources together and we build our own. Watch this. We ain't looking to no government to build our own community centers.
Mm-mm.
We build our own community. We buy the land. We build our own community centers. And we say, this is how this is going to be ran.
Right.
The government don't have a right to come in our community to tell us how this is. We built this. This came from our money. And so this is how. So you act up, Joker, you got to go talk to one of the hierarchy.
Right.
What's your problem, boy? And so you see how we're mentoring them, but yet we're still providing discipline in our community. See that? I think that's what we need. And then if one of the single mothers come and say, he's getting on my nerves, he won't do his work, he always on the gaming system, I'm like, all right, bring him to me. Let me holler at him.
Right. Oh, that's it.
And I think that's what, and it should be a situation to where it's to where we build that camaraderie with each other. So I know if I'm having issues with Justin, if Justin decided to cut up, I know I can call Lovejoy or Mario or Steve.
You have a bait, right?
Hey man, y'all, Justin over here acting a fool, man. I need y'all help.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know I got some guys around that'll come and help me put that we all gonna take turns popping him upside the head. Like we gonna play pop the head. You know what I'm saying? And
but watch this too, though, James. But when he's knocking it out the park,
you got to give it.
We're right there celebrating.
You got to celebrate him. That's it.
A community guy standing there on front, clapping for him, and when he walk up, he feels this sense of camaraderie in his community.
There you go.
And watch this. When we putting our money where our mouth is, we ain't just jumping on them and beating them down. We build them as a man. Like, okay, when you do this, you got a community of jokers behind you.
Right.
Again, guys, shameless plug. That's why we created Brave Men. To have guys like Mario, James, just regular guys that they can connect with, and somebody just tune in their tail up, or if they just need an encouraging word, or if they just need somebody to say, keep on coming this way. Consistency gonna pay off. Don't try to do the quick thing, the fast thing. And the internet has become their voice has become louder than ours because everybody want to get famous real quick, and we trying to tell them, hey, no, you need to work, little nigga. You need to work. You need to get up at 6 o'clock. Come on, keep coming this way.
Right.
We lost it, man.
Right.
We lost it. And I know the show turned into something else, but if we're going to get back to, if we're going to
it's all in the same wheelhouse.
We in the topic.
We in the same.
The purpose of this was what can we do to help with crime reduction? This is it.
This we are in it. This is the base of it right here.
This is it. We have to get back to allowing men to be the men in the communities.
Right.
And that's point blank. So we have to be able to not only, like you just said, not only get in their behinds, but celebrate them when it's time to do that. When they make those small accomplishments, there's people behind them cheering them on like they just won the flipping Olympics or something.
Right.
Something as small as if they just graduated high school.
Right.
That the men have showed up there cheering and clapping and jumping up and down. And making a big deal about it. They don't see that.
You have to celebrate them. You have to celebrate them.
And watch this. We're giving them wisdom like, okay, don't let the system tell you got to go to college in order for you to get paid. He may be good with his hands. He may be good at electrical, plumbing, whatever, driving trucks. We need everybody to be involved because if we send them to a place that he can adapt to, we just set this man up for failure.
Man, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we made is back in the day when we were teaching our kids that you had to go to college to be successful. You had to go to college to make money. You had to go to college. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes. My father didn't teach me that. Graduating high school was his only requirement. After that, it was, and in high school, it was learning something. For me, it was computers and electronics. I had been doing computers since I was in the 6th grade. So for him, that's what him and my mother, that's what they pushed me toward, was learning that. So once I graduated high school, I had opportunities to go intern at Microsoft. I had opportunities to go intern at Apple. I was stupid and didn't do none of that stuff, but but the opportunities were there, and that's all. That was his position, to make sure you know how to do something when you leave here. So if you can go to work when you get out of high school. I've always taught my kids, I know enough to teach you to where if you decide to go to college, if that's what you want to do, you won't be there starving.
Right.
You can go and take these pictures and be making money. Or you can go and clean these buildings and be making money. Or you can go and build computers for people and be making money while you're studying to be in whatever career you want to be. But you won't be starving. You'll be able to make some money.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna throw a couple of things out there that most guys don't even think about. And when I see guys walking with their significant others, I know they've been trained by me. And y'all know what I'm talking about.
Where your woman is located when you're walking.
Where your woman is located when you walk.
When you're walking, right.
Yeah.
If she on the outside, on the sidewalk, you ain't been trained, boy.
Right.
Right.
Hey.
You ain't been trained.
But here's the thing, Lovejoy. Here's the thing though. And I can attest to this. Sometimes our women like to try to take the lead and walk where they feel like they want to walk.
Okay, James, I got pushed back though. Okay, I know I got pushed back. I got pushed back and say this: a woman when she meets a real man, the femininity comes out of her and she acquiesces and she allows that joker to be, and he don't have to walk around and say, "I'm the man, do what I say."
Right.
And you know these jokers when you see him, like, oh, he the man. He don't have no problem.
Shoot.
She don't have no problem with being who she is because she feels safe, she feels protected, she feels all of those things, and she loves being a woman. And all he doing is being themselves. Like, okay, and I said this to somebody the other day. I was like, you know what? You with all that independent stuff, I told you go sit your ass down somewhere. We ain't doing that. And she said, and she just melted on the couch. She said, I would love for a man to tell me to sit my ass down somewhere. I said, no, I ain't about to argue with you on that one. That ain't what we doing. So you need to go to your girl and say, hey, baby, what you think about such and such?
Right.
All right, guys. That's my take on this.
So Carlton, to address that, Carlton, you are right. And we talked about that earlier, that we're gonna need the ladies' help to do what we need to do. We're gonna need their help with that.
Nothing like it, Mother Myers.
Nothing.
That is the sexiest thing.
The divine feminine.
Divine. When she knows and she's secure in that,
she knows
she'll be a strong woman, but she knows she got a strong man and she don't have to display a masculinity sense. Well, that's sexy. That's sexy. Okay.
It is. It is.
So I've got to reply to this. Because it was put up there. So Jessie is a strong woman. I will say that she does allow me to be a man. She does do that. But I think with a lot of women, sometimes when they've had to do it themselves for so long,
yes,
that it's not easy. And I understand that, and I'm very patient with that. But she doesn't buck with me though.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand on her part, it's not that easy because she's had to do it herself. And when she has trusted other people in the past, they haven't,
they let it
you
down.
know, they
Right.
haven't done
Drop
right.
the ball.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? And that's what, ladies, that's what we're saying. We understand we have to be patient with you also, but it's gonna take an effort on both of our sides.
Mm-hmm.
That women, you are gonna have to gain that trust again.
Mm-hmm.
And fellas, we are gonna have to not abuse that trust. Because we're not sitting on here talking about being male chauvinists and being ruling.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what we're talking about.
No.
Not at all.
So you and men have abused that over the years. So we've got to get to the point to where we trust each other again. Ladies, you got to trust us to be men. Men, we've got to make sure that we're handling things and handling these women the way we need to be. The Bible clearly states to us, and we can go here, that our women, man, are our lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you ain't treating your woman right, you can't sit up here and tell me you love God, Jesus, none of that.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
Very good observation.
So we've got to get to where we can gain their trust back. And ladies, you gotta let us do it. You gotta let us do it. You really do.
Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Also, going back to Sarah Beth's comment, how did you get the voice of the black man out in the community again? Black men, if you have sons, you're gonna have to stay in your son's ear.
That's good, Mario. That's good, boy.
That's it. You're gonna have to stay in your son. If you have a son, if you sired a son, you're gonna have to stay in his ear.
Got to.
That's it. And that's another way of getting your voice in the community, because your sons are your echo chambers. Your son. That was
good. You preaching, man? What you want? What you want, man? What's in that cup?
I think it's in this Milo's lemonade.
It's in the Milo's lemonade.
I think that's what it was. But
well, you and James on it tonight.
That's
dude.
it. Steve left, and we had to step up. We couldn't let.
Right,
We couldn't
right.
let.
You know what I'm saying?
I want a toast.
You want a toast? Let me toast with you.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing left. It's
Oh
gone.
God. Okay, but that's it. That's how you get your voice back out in the community. If you have a son, you're gonna have to impart in your son. Your son will then impart into his friends.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's how your voice gets in the community. That's it. That's another factor of it, rather. James, we've been on this thing for a long time.
Yeah,
man,
we've been, yeah.
Dude, it's good tonight.
Boy, hey, we appreciate y'all for coming on and engaging with us for as long as you have engaged. Sarah Beth, this is your first time on the show. We thank you for coming on and posing some good questions. Mother Myers, bless your heart. I love you so much. Thank you so much. All of y'all that have come on and gave us your viewpoints here. With Melissa, I'm sorry, Michelle Scott Shorts. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Shanta Jones, thank you for engaging with everybody. I don't want to miss anybody, but thank you all so much for engaging with us tonight. Yes. Steve said he proud of us. You proud of us, Steve? Right. We can conjugate a verb without you being here.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna be proud, because when I shut this thing down, it's just gonna cut off.
Right. You're gonna go black, huh?
I don't know how to do none of that, so it's just gonna shut down. But listen, y'all, man. So this is what we want to do. We want to come up with solutions. So we understand what's the solution to this crime reduction in our communities. We understand it. Now we just got to implement it. We've got to be able to do it. We've got to be able to rally the men and the women together so we can do this thing. So we can take control of our neighborhoods and listen. When real men step up, these kids will listen.
They will. They'll
listen. When real men step up, like Lovejoy say, and we ain't worried about them pulling no triggers. We ain't scared of them and all that old stuff. When we step up, y'all, they will listen to what has to be said.
They will.
We just have to do it.
Mhm.
We've got to get, and it's got to be a collective effort. I can't do it, and then Lovejoy ain't backing me up, or Mario ain't backing me up. We got to be able to back each other up with
That's
our
true.
kids.
That's true.
That's the only way this is gonna happen, y'all. So listen, this
Hey, can I just say one more thing? What Michelle
Uh-huh.
said right there, real quick. It's funny around my house. I don't care what Keisha says to them girls. They're gonna run to their daddy because they want the approval
Of their dad. That's it.
They are good. They don't care what nobody else say. When I say, baby, you look beautiful, them jokes hit the door, and they don't care what it said because they daddy.
they daddy gave
Watch this. This is Luke chapter 4. This is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased.
well pleased.
If Jesus had to get the approval and the validation of the Father, how much more do our kids need the approval and the validation of their dad?
That's it. The validation of their fathers.
And I said that while I was drunk. So,
James, I'm finna start playing the music so we can fade out.
Okay, go ahead, man. I'm good.
All right, y'all, just been the Four Black Guys show. Y'all put your fours up. That's what we didn't do at the beginning. Put your fours up. Put your fours up.
Yeah, we came right in. We good.
Right, and we finna go right out. It
We
ain't
will
gonna be
catch
no
y'all
nice little
at
pretty
the
music.
next one. Peace.
Peace. Love y'all. Thank you.